Hello, everybody. My name is David. I'm with the DCS Group, and we are going to be starting a little YouTube channel on how to use some of the technologies and software that we use with our clients that might not be so popular, not so much as a popular opinion, but as popular or widely used. And we sometimes find it difficult to find documentation for, or find YouTube videos or any other tutorial guides that are maybe in our language or easy to follow. So we're going to try simplifying things, maybe not going over every little tiny detail and every single little requirement needed to run or use an application or software or even a hardware or whatever it is. So we're going to try and make these as intuitive as possible. And the first technology we're going to be working with is DSS Express by Dahua. This is an awesome tool. V8 really kicked it up a notch. V7 was not very stable, not easy to use, not very intuitive. And V8, they really made a big difference. Our customers love it, we love it. Super easy to install, very feature rich, and does a whole lot of stuff to centralize the management of multiple NVRs, cameras, even AI technologies, and it just makes it all in all very simple and easy to use. All the different hardware and um, applications that are offered by Dahua. This is really cool and unique because Dahua offers a wide range of technologies such as access control, doorbell systems, their cameras, and all types of really cool AI technology. And this software allows you to put it all in one spot. Um, it's pretty hard to find that in the industry, especially for any kind of reasonable price. It's usually insanely expensive. But Dahua's pricing is really good. I'm not going to go into details about the pricing that we currently pay. I know that it ranges, depends on what kind of dealer you are, depends on where you're getting it from. So we're not really going to cover the specific dollar amounts that we pay for our equipment or our software. My best recommendation to anyone is to reach out to your regional director or just reach out to your normal vendor where you buy Dahua North American products from, and they can put you in touch with the regional director who can definitely work with you in getting trial licenses and using all types of cool features and getting all types of trial licenses to use their technologies. So we'll start with installing DSS Express version 8. So we just go ahead and download the zip file here. Now you don't ever want to run the server on a virtual machine. It runs like garbage on the virtual machines and it has tons of issues that I've encountered. Um, Stability wise, not so much functionality wise, but the stability, it's terrible on the VM. I don't understand why. Maybe I didn't set it up right, whatever. You could try doing it yourself, but I get much better results from installing it on a local machine. Also, if you need support from Dahua, and you tell them where they find out you're installing it on a virtual machine, it's gonna immediately slow down the speed of support you get because they have to take that into consideration, and it's not the ideal supported way of installing things for them with them. So let's go ahead and get the DSS Express unzipped here. Dudes. All right. So yeah, that's the package. So I was just gonna drop that on the desktop here. All right. Let's go here. Let's go with desktop. All right. So they have the patch. I forget what the virus was. It was a really popular SQL one that came out during COVID. So they have a patch for it to install. Don't know if you need it, but they're pretty proactive in security, being a security company and all. So they do release patches whenever a threat is found or reported. So let's go ahead and install this. Now here I am installing it on a Proxmox machine. Um, Once again, not ideal to install it on a VM, but for the sake of teaching you guys how to install it, we will just show you, and then once we actually start demoing how to use stuff, we will switch over to my primary server. Okay, so the server has now been installed, installation is completed. Um, You can install the patches now, but just out of force of habit, when I install programs, sometimes they don't always developed right, or sometimes there's issues. but a lot of software and programs use a configuration file, and since these are patches, they're usually designed to work with existing installs. Um, just to make sure that the system runs at least once before installing the patches is something I would do. You don't have to. If the instructions don't say to do it, I don't see why you would, but I'm going to just for the heck of it. So if you have multiple NICs on your computer, I believe you can team them together or use one as a failover. But we're just going to say single NIC right now, since it's just a VM with a virtual NIC card on it. Definitely want to keep your server as static IP. Personally, me, I would just stick DSS in the WAN. I'll go over why I would do that later. But for now, if you're on the local, you definitely want to make sure it's got static IP. No matter what you want static IP, WAN or LAN, WAN or private, wherever you have your interface set up, you should definitely always have a static IP, just like any other server, because you need to access it. And if God forbid it changes IP addresses, it's going to be really annoying for both you and your customers. So let's move on from that. TLS self-adaptive mode to perform platform-wide supports TLS 1.2. Please enable TLS 1.2 in your browser settings. I don't think this is an issue anymore today, especially since Office 365 and everybody else rolled out TLS 1.2 integration. Almost 5 years, 6 years ago, I feel like. So almost every computer that's used for any kind of commercial use or even personal use, anyone who ever uses any mainstream software has already done this, so you shouldn't have to do anything here. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, all right, so we're just gonna move on from that because I really don't want to support 1.1 or anything else like that. All the services that are running here, so I don't know if auto starts or not. Let's see. It usually says starting up or restarting or something like that. Here you go, starting. So all the services are now running. There are a ton of services inside this program, a lot. So that's why I kind of said it might be easier just to give it a public IP and call it a day. But I understand the security risk with that. So it depends on the customer, what I'm doing or how I'm doing everything. But I mean, putting it behind a firewall is the safest way to do it. If I manage the firewall and I'm the one that's in charge of it, then I have no problem sticking it behind a firewall. But because of all the port forwarding that's involved here, if you were to install this for a customer and like a year goes by, then that customer, switches IT companies, they get bought out or something happens and someone messes with something and now nothing works, then you have to explain to them all the ports you need open, why you need them open, and then you have to go through like a letter of authorization, a bunch of other BS. So sometimes it's easier just to say, hey, spend an extra $15 a month, give me a public IP, and let me give you access to your server. And just tell everybody to access it that way. That's one route of doing it. There is another way, which I'll show in a later video, using Cloudflare that could make it both secure and a lot easier to do than doing all the port forwarding. But yeah, I mean, port forwarding is nothing difficult or complicated. It's just annoying when you're doing it for a customer and you're installing the server at a customer location and you don't manage that firewall. So that can get really, really annoying. So you choose, you pick your poison. You can give the public IP and call it a day, or you can do the port forwarding or deal with the customer. I'll make another video later on how you can use Cloudflare to avoid all this and not have any problems at all. So all the services are running. Now, depending on your server and your resources available, it could take a while to get this thing up and going. Sometimes when I do these reboots, I've seen them take as long as 10 minutes on a bare metal machine. Just is what it is. Let's see. So now that the server is up and running, we should be able to access it using the ports. So we'll go ahead and do that. So if people need me to go more in depth with these videos, I have no problem with that. But I'm kind of going to go ahead and assume that you know some basics. You have access to a server. You're installing a program, you're installing DSS, so I have to assume that you have some sort of technical knowledge on how to explore some of these options. For example, do I really need to cover how you can just simply change ports? I shouldn't have to really do that. I've never really messed around too much with all the other ports. If you guys want to be my guest, I really don't think there should be any issues. I personally don't see why there would be any. I have messed with these ports. I have changed some of these for customers. Like I don't even use 80 for anything. 443, sometimes I'll change that to a port because very often that's usually already occupied, especially when you're sticking it behind an existing firewall or something like that, and then you're giving it a private IP, so you're behind someone's firewall, and very often in commercial environments, they'll already be utilizing 443 for something else. Maybe they got their own Exchange server or something like that, whatever. So you can just click the pencil icon and change it. So let's go and access the actual interface here. Let's go and close this, Let's open back up. So you can either type in your own IP address, or you could just type in the 127, the local host. You can also see some stuff here, which we'll cover over later. So you can't update those settings that we were talking about earlier here. All right, so let's go back. You could type in your own IP address, or since I'm logged into the exact same server, I'm just going to go ahead 127.0.0.1. Okay. And just download the client. Jeez, come on. I guess I didn't click it. All right. All right, I have read and agreed to terms and conditions. You can choose to do that or not. It's up to you. Hit next. All right, space is required, blah, blah. Where are you going to install it? Click install. And we still haven't installed the patches, so I will just make sure to, don't forget to do that in a second. In the documentation here, you'll see like a must install both patches. It's basically, I just take it to these documents, just want to make sure you install 927 first, then 125. It's pretty much double click to install. Yeah, that's not brain surgery there. All right, so I believe the default credentials are system or something like that. Let's go and try it out. So the server address, you could do the same thing. You could do the domain name if you gave it one. You can do the public IP, or you can do the or the private IP that was assigned to, or public IP, whatever whatever poison you chose. Or you could just type in 127.0.0.1 since you're right here on the same machine. Now remember, you can't use 127.0.0.1 if you're doing this from another computer. 127.0.0.1 just means localhost. That means this local machine. So it wants me to set a password. So for now, we'll just do. Guess I just didn't push tab hard enough. All right. Who is your favorite athlete? Well, I don't watch sports, so I don't really care. Pop star, blah, blah. So we're just going to do DCS 1, DCS 2, DCS 3, blah, blah, blah. It's annoying questions. Okay. Should auto start up. All right, excellent. I'm really shocked at how well this Proxmox machine is actually doing. It's pretty cool. All right, so we have DSS installed, DSS Express installed. Let's go ahead and close this out. Make sure we're in the system now. Yes, let's go here. Let's go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and stop all. Dudes. Stopping. Okay, let's close that up. Let's get our patches installed. 927, usually what it tells you to do first. We can double check here. So it says install the program, install the patch, install the patch. So 927, then 125. Go to here. It's ready to be installed. DSS Express will restart during installation. Continue. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, thank you. I have read and I agree to you taking everything I have. Okay. Excellent. I don't know if it tries to go and restart it by itself. If it does, it's kind of annoying. It really shouldn't try restarting anything unless I tell it to, but I get it. Install the patch. I guess it's made to be installed while the system itself is running. That's why it does the restart. So let's see. Let's go and let that start up. Just gonna let it start all the way up, and then I'll go ahead and install the second patch once this is running. And I know the specs on the DSS wiki say it needs a lot, but I'll be honest with you, it really doesn't. This thing requires very low resources compared to what they advertise. I'm running this on a Dell R410 server with like 64 gigs of RAM. I think it's like a 20-year-old server. Something I had laying around in the basement. Come on. I should time it. Yeah, next one will time it. Like Windows has a timer built into it, right? Like a timer built into this thing somewhere. I thought Windows had like a stopwatch built into it or something. Let's see if I can Google one. Oh yes, tons of advertisements. Let's go back. Let's find something a little more simpler. There we go. I know it's free, but come on, you can build a responsive template. Jeez. All right. Alright, so now we're going to get the next patch installed. Hopefully it'll give me the same warning. Restart it and we can do a little timer. As ready to be installed, you're supposed to restart the installation. Okay. Click OK to continue, stopping the server. And then we'll wait till it says starting, and then we'll hit the start button and we'll time how long it actually takes to start up from scratch. On a virtual machine with Proxmox installed on a 20-year-old server. Let's see how well it does. This one takes a little bit longer to install than the other one. Alright, so done. It's gonna get running. Okay. Let's wait till it says starting. So everything says stopped. Alright, starting. See something starting up here. Let's see how long it takes to do this. All right, so 3 minutes and 15 seconds, we'll say. That's actually not bad. Um, I've seen it take way longer on bare metal machines, so that's actually pretty impressive. Very cool. All right, so now we have our patches installed and we have the server running. Everything should be good here. There's a couple more things to cover. If you guys wanted to do a domain name, you guys can. So if I wanted to, for example, do a WAN IP domain name, I can give it a domain name, or I can just point IP to it. I don't think actually filling this out really does anything super beneficial, but it's up to you. Let's see what it says here. You can't even click the question mark, can you? I don't think filling it out really does anything beneficial, or if it will in the future, maybe it does or doesn't. Yeah, I thought we'd create a rule that with the NGINX or something like that that says if they're not accessing it on the local IP or the whatever I enter in here, that maybe it wouldn't allow it to go through. But I've seen this blank and it lets me go through. I put the public IP here and just pointed the domain names to the public IP and no issues. I don't have to actually put a domain name in there. Like I said, I've never seen it not work by not doing anything with this field, so it's up to you guys if you want to enter that in or not. Let's hit cancel for now. And that's about it, I think, as far as installing the program goes. And we should probably make another video. I'm trying to think what else there is. SSL certificates, which we can cover. I guess you can write in the comments if you want me to cover SSL certificates. It's up to you guys. It's not very complicated, but yeah. It is just a little annoying because DSS doesn't generate a CSR, I don't believe. We can check real quick. Let's go to the DSS client. Dudes. So yeah, 1, 2. I don't know why it says 2. It should say 1. And be system. The password I created earlier. It's weird that it said 2 because client platform does not match. That's odd. It doesn't match. It should match because we just installed it from there. But let's go ahead and update it. Maybe the patches has something to do with that. I'm going to go with yeah, it probably did. So we'll go ahead and update that. Okay. You could use these features too if you wanted to. It's up to you. I usually enable them for end users who are pretty much just read only, can't change anything, just look at cameras. Just have it automatically log in. Don't really see any harm in that. Alright, let's go back. What is it going to do? So system parameters, I think. Let's see. Who logs email, timestamp, blah, blah, blah. No, we don't care about any of this. Maybe under licenses. No, don't care about that. So maybe it's only in the pro version? Oh, there you go, scary thing. Why did that pop up right away? Or I'm not even paying attention. Yeah, I just wasn't even paying attention. There it is. All right, so the annoying thing about this is it does not generate a CSR, a certificate sign-off request or signing request, whatever it is. It's the file that you have to provide to your SSL issuer, the person who issues the certificate, to do it. So you have to generate your own SSL for the domain name. Not a big deal. It's super easy to do. I can make a video on it. If you put in the comments you're interested in that, I can. No problem. All right, so let's see what else. As far as setting it up, you could do your time sync. Yeah, you can just do it whatever. Just do it at 1 o'clock in the morning. All right. Interval, sync time when device comes on. Sync time when device comes online. Sure, why not? Sync time now. All right. And then you can do an NTP time sync. So like something like us.pool.ntp.org. Okay. You do that. Okay. Email server. You can use one of the predefined templates on their email server. You can use Yahoo, Gmail, Hotmail. I don't know why they don't have one for 365, but basically here they are right here. You can use TLS or SSL with 365, message365.com. Just type in your email address, password, and then the test recipient, and hit test email and save, and that should be good for that. And this is basically all the settings that really have to be set up here. So your server is now installed, you've opened up the client, you gotten to see how that works. And then the next video will cover more details on how to set up, backup, storage, and add your first device and create some user accounts, and we'll get that ball rolling. Thanks for watching, and let me know in the comments if you want to see anything else, and if you can, please subscribe so we can keep making more videos and content like this.